Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome to our second video of the series then that we're doing. And today we've got the legend, the man, the myth, Peter Pricket, all the way from sunny London. Is that where you originally from as well, Peter? Yeah?
Yeah, born and bred.
So I won't give you an introduction. That I'll allow people to do that. I'll allow you to do that. So if you just want to give us a quick intro on who you are, what you're currently doing.
My day-to-day role is I work with Brentford FC Community Trust, with schools, development centres, quite a few different environments. Tutored with the FA on the futsal programme, but the main reason that I'm here is because I've written 2 books about 3v3 football.
I can see him there, nicely placed just behind you. Okay, there we go. So we'll come on to them in a bit, Peter, and we'll give probably one or two of them away, hopefully. But obviously, you wrote them books a couple of years ago now. Is that when the first one was out?
The first book was 2018.
Right. So first question then, you've probably been asked this before. Why did you pick 3v3 with your background then?
Well, it was the initial thought behind it was a little bit fluky, because we were working through our curriculum at the development centre, and we had created a section that focused on 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. And so that was probably 5 or 6 years ago. And 1v1 was fine, plenty of practices. 2v2s were okay. 3v3s, I was looking for some resources. And using the power of social media, I asked the question, has anyone got any good 3v3 resources? And I got a resounding nothing from anyone. Okay, let's dig into it. Let's see if I can actually really dig and find anything. And I really couldn't. Horst Lane's stuff was out there, which is fantastic, and probably without his stuff, I wouldn't have written anything, probably. But there was nothing else. So I just started playing around, creating sessions, practices, more than just, well, there's a goal there, let's play. There's 2 goals in that end, there's 2 goals at that end, let's play. Let's affect the shapes on the pitch, the rules, all of those kind of constraints, and see how far we can take this. And that's why it happened. So I was dissatisfied with the 2v2 practices because I felt they lacked the extra bit of connectivity. You don't get, it becomes flat and straight lines. It's one point to another.
Yeah.
So it's limited in that regard. You add that third dimension in, and you get so many more options and possibilities. And one of the foundations of the game is triangles, those triangular shapes for passing and possession and defending. So the 3 players, it automatically creates that. And then you go into 4v4, and I was just going to say, I've got nothing against any of these formats, but for me, the optimum one was to go 3v3, because doing 4v4 in certain environments, player will just disappear because they're not connected, they're away from it, and they just vanish. So I found 3v3 worked very well for that. So then those practices are out there, they're being shared around, people are loving them, and I get comments, oh, you should put these into a book, you should put these into a PDF, blah, blah, blah. We'll see. And eventually I just went, you know what, let's do it. Went through the books on my shelves, looked at who the publishers were, contacted one of them, and they said yes. And that was it. Took all the social free stuff down from social media. If people had been quick, they could have got most of the first book for nothing. But that's how it goes. And now 2 books in on 3v3, Might be a third one in the pipeline further down the road.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? 3v3 books. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand. I don't know if people know. I try and plan my tournaments with a free, so on the 3rd of the month or the 30th of the month, and it's a little thing like that. Yeah, I always try and keep the free in there. But no, I've read both of the books, and I've given them away. Actually, I'd like to say to other coaches, when they've seen what we do with the 3v3 UK games program, and I just said, there you go. You know, as a coach with no experience, or a coach who's been doing this for many years, I think the 3v3 game at all ages works, and let's say that's all I do now. The other day I was doing it with 16 to 20-year-olds, and they absolutely loved it. It was something completely new to them. The club we were at, the first team, said, "Can we have this?" Yeah, so they want to get involved and play in it. But then right the way down, say to the little tots, it's the introduction game that we give them, 3v3, like you said before. For me, it allows them to do everything that you need to do in the bigger formats of the game. The 3v3 intensifies every aspect of the game, I feel, and we've seen that over the years. So you've, as well as writing the books, you've used these programs then yourself. So what, obviously, the development of the players, have you seen that it works, and what benefits have you seen actually come out of players and who've done a lot of 3v3?
Yeah, look, obviously we're very biased here, but we're biased for a reason, because we genuinely believe that it works, and we have seen the format work. And I always have to put this caveat in whenever I do an interview. It's in the books as well. I'm not telling people only use 3v3. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that the use of 3v3 amongst other activities, depending on the age, is going to help add to that mix, that heady mix. It will help them. And I use it heavily with the younger age groups, heavily. It's almost all we do, almost. You add in 1v1 and other scenarios, and then sometimes, in the right circumstances, join a couple of games together for a 6v6. But that's, if we're looking at 6 sessions, that might happen in one of them. That's the proportion of it. And I notice players becoming confident. They are involved. So there's none of this hiding going on, but not necessarily intentional hiding either. It's just because at grassroots, I've used it in different environments. At grassroots, where it's completely mixed ability, I've seen players who were previously not involved suddenly become highly involved because the small-sided format allows them to be. It gives them opportunities to be on the ball just mathematically. It gives them those opportunities, and the number of decisions that they need to make has increased because of the creation of angles and movements and scenarios because of that triangular setup. They'll be on the ball all the time playing 1 versus 0, but there's no decisions. They'll be on the ball a lot 1v1, but if the matchup is wrong, then actually they might hardly touch it. And we've talked about 2v2 before. So the 3v3 environment has enabled them to just over time get into the game, get a feel for playing the game in a more natural way, a way that gives them a chance. And if you dropped a kid into a 5v5, hardly had any football experience at grassroots, you've got a passenger sometimes, and I'm not sure who that helps.
No, I've seen that, and I say, well, it just on the eye, the years I've done 3v3, and I've always said, you see the biggest and the fastest improvement in those like new or lower ability kids in a short space of time, and just because, as I say, the amount of repetition and involvement that they get, especially at the younger age. Like I say, they don't just become a passenger; they go looking at the clouds and waving to mum on the side, and they become disengaged then with the game, and then you go, oh, he's not getting better. Him, it's like, well, that's because he's playing the wrong game for what his ability then. But yeah, with the 3v3, like I say, everyone gets involved, and I've seen it so transferable, and that's why we keep getting loads of teams coming back to our programs. Is they know what they do in a 3v3 program. They then take it into their league games at a 5v5 or 7v7, and they know it's transferable. Bit like futsal, really, in a way, how transferable all the skills are, and how it just intensifies the whole game. Someone said to me once, and I've repeated this loads of times, if futsal is football on speed, then 3v3 is futsal on speed. And it's like, yeah, that sums up. Then yeah, everything is just so intense.
My get another plug in, obviously. My most recent book, the Principles of Play book. You're gonna wave.
That one.
That one. That's the one. In the first chapter, I talk about football being an invasion game. So all invasion games are of the same family, and they share the same objective, which is to score a point in a goal or target or area. Basketball, in the hoop. Rugby, get the touchdown in the area. Touchdown, get the try. American football, get the touchdown. Football, score a goal. Futsal, score a goal. But the principles transfer between them. And the first principle of scoring generally relies on going forward. How can we go forward? And that will translate from, if 3v3 is also an invasion game, then everything that happens is also relevant to 11v11, because the principles don't change, or at least don't change very much. There are a couple that will be impacted by area size and the one law of the game that actually changes the principles, which is offside. But that's 11v11. That's a very, very small part of it. It's just changing the length of the game anyway. We can do that by introducing zones, end zone. End zones essentially will give you the offside rule if you play it that way. So if we think that the principles should drive everything that we do as a coach, 3v3 supports the principles of play, which makes it transferable into 11v11 instantly. And that's also the great advantage futsal has. It's another invasion game. The principles are incredibly similar, but smaller sided, different surface, all of these elements that should enhance players' development and learning.
Yeah. No, it is there, and I say we've seen it, and I say it's part of our 3v3 program with the grassroots. But then I say we do it with the higher ability kids, and we do stuff with different academies around the country, and you see it with them, and their technical ability is there to see, and they use even that in that small space like we have on the air pitch. They still, people go, oh, you can't play in there. It's too small. It's like, well, no. The technical good players will figure that space out and use it to their advantage. Then whether they think, oh, I can play a wall pass off the wall, or they just create, make that space big enough for them. They don't need acres and acres of room. And I say that's what we've seen that, I say, umpteen times now over the years with it then. And for me, why a lot of kids keep coming back is they love it. You know, you say to kids, what do you want to do? And it's not about, you know, not interested. Some are all about winning and just, getting trophies. Some of them they just love the ball. And as coaches, and okay, we might have one player we know who goes on to make it pro, but we'll come across thousands then who our job is to help them fall in love with the game. And I think 3v3 really, helps them with that, because they're getting loads of touch on the ball, they're having loads of shots, they're scoring loads of goals, they're doing stuff that they'll remember, whether it's a different skill, or a tackle, or anything like that. They'll have loads of chances to do that in that small sided game compared to what they might do then on a bigger sided game then.
I think it's action, and that's one of the keys. When you play a 3v3 game or a small-sided game, no matter your age, it's going to be action-packed, because of the size of the area, the opportunities to score. There's numerous 1v1s, 1v2s, chances to quickly combine. The goals are never that far away, so it's always an opportunity to score. The affordance to score and create in different ways is there, and there's freedom to do it. So, for example, with the free play session that we've created on a Thursday night, a massive part of the point of it is, while they're playing, we don't really talk to them. We'll encourage them, but coaching and advice, that's not for while they're playing. And when I've had some very enthusiastic coaches working with me, I've had to just say, okay, that coaching point that you've got, save it up, frame it as a question, ask them in between the games while they're having a drink, and then try and leave it. If you've asked them that question and they then do it, point it out to them during the game. Say, well done, that's exactly what we talked about, etc., etc. So independent decision makers and thinkers is great. It might be a wrong decision, but in whose opinion? If it keeps failing, maybe it is wrong. Maybe they learn because they keep failing, but give them a chance to do that and find out. Not just, no, we don't do that. Or why not? Try it and find out.
Yeah. No, and we've seen that. I see the coaches done that. We did it once. One of the tournaments we run is one of a couple of years, and at all the age groups, the majority of teams that won, because it was a tournament, didn't have a coach. Right? It was a dad brought his son and two mates, or his daughter and a couple of friends, and it's go and play. All right. The only thing they did was like a couple that had substitutes, so they made sure they all rotated, and that was all they did. And the kids run the game. The kids did what they want. They'd played it. They were, they had experience in it. They weren't learning it. But the majority of teams that won on this particular day, and I remember it, didn't have a coach. It was just let them play. And we always try and use the hashtag then, just let them play and enjoy it. And that's the feedback we get from the festival we've just run recently, how much the kids enjoyed it just because they were allowed to do what they did with the one we did the other day. We had music on, and it was just a front, friendly atmosphere, and it just added then to the vibe. And it's like, everyone went away enjoying. One lad got injured, so we don't think he enjoyed it that much, but everyone else, really enjoyed it.
Yes, it's outplay and outwit. That's the key to success in these formats. And as players move up through the ages and through the levels, the players who can outplay and outwit become more and more vital, because defensively and organisationally, teams become better and better. So the mistake to allow you to win is less prevalent. The team being disorganised to enable you to just pick a couple of passes and 1-2 through them and score becomes less prevalent. What you get, and we saw it at the Euros quite a lot, teams set in the old 2 banks of 4 with the 2 in front, but actually that's not really what we saw. If you look at England, we saw that 5-4 and the 1 just making a wall very close to their own box, especially for the last, almost hour and a half of the final. You got to pick your way through. And that's where players need to be able to outplay and outwit to create those opportunities. So if they have that idea in their formative years, hopefully, I say hopefully, because you just never know, it will stick with them all the way through in their journey.
That's, I know a few coaches talk about that golden age of learning when they are in that foundation phase. And then, how that carries through. I've not gone. Mine started 6 years ago. So mine are just ending their foundation phase. Now we're going into the next phase. So I'm hoping to see that personally myself with it then. But obviously you would have seen that. And then you mentioned the Euros there, and you look at some of the teams who have had this as part of their DNA, not just in particular 3v3, but these small-sided games, let's say, where they've got a lot of action, a lot of decision-making, a lot of technical nous and about them. What teams or what players then did you see in the Euros that's just gone that you think, that these are the ones then?
I think one of the most interesting things in terms of national teams and federations is a team that didn't do particularly well, which is worth highlighting Germany, because they had their golden period after their restructuring, and they very quickly, as they tend to, decided our players are a little too predictable and a little too robotic by and large. Technically very good, really good on the counter attack, but not so good at breaking through these blocks. And they decided, we're going to start to implement 3v3 in the early stages. So given their reputation and their consistent ability to reinvent and find excellence, it's very much worth paying attention to their choice to highlight 3v3. As for other sides, Belgium continue to develop exciting, attacking, creative players. And we know that although Belgium don't particularly use 3v3, they use a particular form of 2v2, which has similar effects. And they've got those technical players who can change a game. The Spanish players, if Spain weren't so wasteful inside the penalty area, they would have walked the tournament, I suspect. But their creation in and around the box, they created more opportunities than anyone. And there is a strong small-sided games culture in Spain, a strong futsal culture in Spain, although there are a few myths around that in terms of, they don't train both at the same time necessarily, but they will have played it. They will have that feeling in their bones, if you like, about what to do in a small space. So I think the most creative teams were Belgium and Spain. They were certainly the most noteworthy. England were interesting. I'm not critical because England reached a final for the first time quite famously. I don't really need to highlight that, but whether the way the team played was in keeping with the desires of the England DNA and staying on the ball and being creative is possibly questionable. You can't question really the net result they got to a final, but now it's over. How did they do it? Did they really do it in the way that the DNA wanted them to? I'm not sure that they did.
So then, obviously, the team did them, but you look at them individual players and that have come through that England DNA process from, when it started. Then was it like 12, 15 years ago? So these are like for me, like the first bunch who they spent all their development time coming through this England DNA. So that the kind of players that we've got, you think, okay, maybe we didn't use them as much as fans wanted them in the Euros, but we've got them technical, creative types of players more than what we had. We'd always have 1 or 2 years ago, and they were just mavericks. Whereas now it seems to be we've got real good crop coming through.
Well, it goes back, the 12, 15 years ago goes back to the Future Game and the Youth Awards. And trying to help develop more creative, more exciting players. Small-sided games was in that setup, and it developed and evolved further through the DNA. I actually remember at the time looking at it and thinking, these setups are fantastic for creative players, which we need. Might be a question of, if this is how we look at it, where do the defenders and goal scorers come from? But we'll deal with that when we get to that bridge. I think we've got there a bit quicker than I expected. But we're in a position where we've got the expressive, creative players. We now need someone or people who trust them and understand how to use them. I'm not saying that Gareth doesn't understand how to use them, but he may have made a conscious choice to not go down that road and to go down a more solid defensive route, and then say, hopefully their expressive attacking ability will get us through those games, which by and large it did.
No, it was it's been a long time coming watching games with fans, and it did seem I was lucky to go to one of the games myself with my son, so it was an experience we'll never forget. But no, I can't wait to see that evolution now of the England team, of where we go to next with it then. I think they set up with a good tournament team, and it done the job. It almost got to the final, but I think the players we've got.
I mean, what a luxurious position it actually is to be in, where you go, oh, we've got too many attacking, creative, exciting players. We now need to worry about what we do defensively. Whereas before, it's the opposite way around. Defensively, we're fine. How are we going to create anything? So there's quite a turnaround, and I think moves towards small-sided games and challenging players have really helped. Of course, there's a lot more to it than that. There's EPPP and the development or evolution again of the academy system, because whether people support the way academy football is and the way youth development is, these players have all been there. If it was a complete failure, we wouldn't have any players.
No, it has. It's big. I can say a lot of it then, that's like at the elite level there. But we'll say with what we do and what you do with the community trust is all then, let's say, as on the grassroots with the young ones. And it's probably a good time now to, have a quick chat then about the upcoming tournament we've got planned together. So it's on the 31st of July. Is it I always say it wrong. Gunnersbury Park.
Gunnersbury Park in Ealing. It's kind of on the border of Ealing, Acton, and Brentford. So it's right in the middle, just next to the A4. So it's really good spot for local access to get to. 2 4G pitches, nice and fresh, ready for players to come along, lots of space. Hopefully the weather will be fantastic as well by that point. And yeah, it should be really, really exciting to see hopefully huge numbers of young players ready to come and express themselves as only 3v3 will let them. That's so marketing speak. In a way that 3v3 will help them to do. That's probably less punchy, but still.
And I've seen, obviously, because it's my job now running 3v3 events, but seen lots and lots of clubs and groups now doing 3v3 tournaments or 3v3 sessions. People are buying into it now. It seems it's growing, and so just locally up here in Manchester, I say, I know there's quite a few now that do it. Obviously, we've got the air pitches, which is what we're bringing down to the event with Brentford Community Trust, which add to the game. And a coach said the other week, who'd done 3v3 for years himself, he said 3v3 is always good. This just makes it better with the air pitch. It adds another dimension to it. It makes it even faster. It makes it even more fun. The kids love it because it looks, for them, like they've got to play in this fun zone. And again, another coach, called it that. He said, you go in there, that's your fun zone. Go and enjoy it. Go and express yourself. And the other thing that they get out of it is it's such hard work, right? They don't realise that the rules that we have in our 3v3 UK format, 8 minutes. People say, 8 minutes? Is that all of them? Trust me, 8 minutes is a long time when you're playing like this. So it is non-stop. We've got all the stats, the ball's in play 95% of the time. There's an adult. I run a weekly league. I've told this story before. He said, I don't want to play on this air pitch. I'm like, why? I went, it's too hot. What do you mean it's too hot? As if it's different to the outside. He went, yeah, I'm too hot. And it was that because the ball's non-stop. Yeah, he never got a rest, so he thought it was hotter on the air pitch than it was outside. So no, I'm looking forward to that event with yourselves and the rest of the team down there on the 31st of July. So we'll put a link for people to book on that or to find out more. Obviously, you've got your 2 books there mentioned before, Peter. Where's the best place to get one of them from?
At the moment, the best place for these 2 is Amazon. Pretty easy to find. Just type in developing skill or even just 3v3 soccer and they'll come up. Or you can type in my name and click on that and it'll take you to the author's page where these and the new book will pop up. For those who dislike Amazon, because there are plenty, they are available on WH Smith, Waterstones, etc. They don't stock them, but they'll order them for you. So for those who have an Amazon aversion, you can try elsewhere and you shouldn't have a problem finding them. Alternatively, I have got a couple that I'm selling on eBay. So you can pick up a few from me. It's just that I'm a bit slower to deliver than the websites are.
Yeah, look at that. And so can we do a giveaway, Peter? Can we give one of each away to a person who watches this video?
Absolutely.
So we'll post this on our socials and on YouTube, and it'll go out in our weekly newsletter for BazookaGoal. So there'll be a way of commenting on this post, and then we'll do we're going to do this weekly now. So we've got different people lined up each week to do interviews with. So we'll close this next Friday. So by the time the next one comes out, we'll have this one. We'll close this competition. So there'll be a way of commenting below or above or side, or they all work differently. But there'll be a way of commenting on this post, and we'll randomly pick a winner to get the 2 books, and we'll get them sent out to him. But I look forward to seeing you on the 31st, Peter. It's not too far away now. We're on a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks,
I'll have to get the passport out to come down that far. But no, it will be a good day. It'll be the first one we've done in London, especially say with the air pitches. So it'll be a unique event. Great way, you know. People say, "Oh, I've not got enough players over the summer." You only need 3. So yeah, anyone can come and play. So I'll see you then. And thanks for your time again, Peter. Listening to your insight on football and 3v3 in particular. Like I say, some people call me Mr. 3v3 up here, but I'll always call you Mr. 3v3. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the time.
Cheers now. Take care. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.